Hey guys, Brian here with What's Prairie Outdoors. Today we're going to do something a little different. I've got my 308 Remington 700 SPS Tactical, and this has the factory stock on it. Any of you that have this rifle know the factory stock leaves a little bit to be desired. It's kind of flimsy. It's not always centered in the stock on the forend, and when you go to load the bipod, the stock will flex and it can touch the barrel, and that's going to throw off your accuracy. So we want to show you the difference in this factory stock versus a precision rifle chassis and what improvements that will make to your accuracy. We'll be doing this testing at 100 yards. To keep this test as accurate as possible, the only thing we're changing out is going from the factory stock to a precision chassis. We're going to continue to use all the same components, and I'll give you a rundown on what those are real quick. Up front we have a Landtac Dragon muzzle brake. Does a great job, helps keep you on target. We have a Harris bipod, and this has the Boskable Weapon Systems interchangeable feet system. I just did an install video of it here, and these feet really allow you to bite in, do a phenomenal job, especially around here in this Carolina clay. It just locks down rock solid. Really loving this system, and it makes the Harris bipod such a better system because those factory feet, depending on what surface you're on, when you go to load the bipod, it would tend to scoot forward just a little bit here and there, and it drove me nuts. So I'm loving this system. They did an awesome job. Our glass is a Ride-On Optics X5 Conquer 5-25 by 50 with a 34mm main tube. It has Ride-On rings made by Contessa. Our scope mount is from MDT Chassis, and this scope mount is required for the particular chassis we're using, so I went ahead and installed it. That way it's even across both playing fields. Alright, last but not least, we have the TriggerTech Remington 700 two-stage trigger, and this trigger is absolutely amazing. I cannot say enough good things about it. Zero creep, super crisp break. Just, they did a really good job with it. I'm super excited to be using this, and huge upgrade over the factory trigger on this rifle. There's no comparison. Our chassis comes from MDT Chassis. This is the ESS or Elite Sniper System chassis. I've always wanted an ESS chassis ever since I saw John McQuay on 8541 Tactical using one, and I think they're works of art. MDT does phenomenal work on their machining, and the fit and finish is just awesome. I love the adjustable comb length of pull, and one of my favorite things now is the pistol grip that's adjustable and it's vertical, so you get a much more natural shot, and then you can adjust it forward and back to get your finger the exact distance you need from the trigger, so you get a very repeatable shot every time. And anybody that does precision shooting knows repeatability is where your accuracy comes in. So if you can do the exact same thing every time, you're going to be that much more accurate. I also absolutely love the fact that we have detachable magazines. Next up, we've got the Hoptic USA quiver. It plays no role in this video, but I just love them. I've got them on a lot of my rifles, especially my lever actions. It's a great way to carry some extra ammo. Really well made stuff. Up front again, so we get the same setup each time. We've got the same Harris bipod with Boskable Weapon Systems feet. That way we are repeating exactly what we had before. There's no extra grip or less grip. We're going to have the exact same setup as we did before. So those are the two systems we're going to be using. I think we'll see some greatly improved accuracy with the MDT chassis over the factory stock. There's just so much flex in that stock, you can't get a consistent, repeatable shot every time. It's not going to happen. So I think, like I said, we will see some great improvements with this. Let's check out the ammo we got, and then we're going to head out to the range. First up, we have the Hornady Black 155 grain AMAX load with a stated velocity of 2,850 feet per second. Next up, we have the Federal Premium 168 grain Sierra Match King with a stated velocity of 2,650 feet per second. And the last cartridge we will be using for this test is the Federal Fusion 180 grain bonded soft point with a stated velocity of 2,600 feet per second. We'd like to thank Big Daddy Unlimited for supplying the ammo for today's shoot. If you guys don't know about them, check out the episode notes linked below. They're linked in there. And Big Daddy is basically the superstore of the firearms world. You pay a low monthly fee and you get access to tons of firearms, ammo, and accessories at really good prices. So check them out for sure. One thing I almost forgot, we're going to be using a Tab Gear rear bag for our rear support on both platforms. Let's go do some shooting. Alright guys, eyes and ears very important with this. Our first load is the Hornady Black 155 grain AMAX with a stated muzzle velocity of 2,850 feet per second. Let's see how it groups. All right, that's for 155s. Now let's step up to our 168 grain Federal Gold Medal Match hollow points. And this has a stated velocity of 2,650 feet per second. One thing to keep in mind is I'm zeroed for a completely different round than what I'm shooting, so these rounds are not going for accuracy on a bullseye. We're just looking at grouping here. Alrighty, that was our 168s. Now we're going to step up to our 180 grain Federal Fusion with a bonded soft point. And this has a stated muzzle velocity of 2,600 feet per second. So each round we've slowed up a little bit. One thing I failed to mention is this is a 1 in 10 twist barrel. It tends to like 168s and 175s the best from what I've seen, but we're doing the 155, the 168, and the 180 to give you an idea across the spectrum of how different ammos group. Alrighty. Let's go check those out and see what kind of grouping we got. All right, well, the factory stock did fairly well. I mean, we've got sub-MOA on all these groups. I'm really happy with that. And surprisingly, believe it or not, the Federal Fusion 180 grain, the least expensive of all three of these, got the best grouping. I was really surprised by that. Our 155 grain AMAX loads got a 0.98 MOA. I'll put that up on screen here for you. The 168 grain match boat tail hollow points from Federal got a 0.87 MOA. And then the 180 grain Federal Fusion soft points got a 0.72 MOA. So really, that's all good groupings. That's all very acceptable. There's nothing wrong with the stock, but I don't like that flex because depending on how you load that bipod, that stock's going to flex a little more. It's going to give a little here and there. And depending on how you load it, if you're a little bit canted or a little bit of an angle, you're going to make that barrel touch that stock. And that's going to throw your accuracy off. And you could get a bad flyer. You know, it could be that first shot that's a bad flyer, and you might miss a deer or, you know, whatever you're hunting. So, or you might wound it instead of killing it because you were off just an inch or two because you loaded that bipod and it touched the barrel, touched the stock. So that's where going to a chassis is going to make a big difference. So we're going to get the rifle switched over to the MDT ESS Chassis, and then we're going to set up a new target and we're going to rock and roll and see how that bad boy does. Let's get to it. All right, guys, we are mounted into the beautiful MDT ESS Chassis. I absolutely love this thing, and I got to say my favorite aspect of it is having a detachable box magazine versus that internal magazine. I don't like them. They're finicky, and you can't always tell the rifle's clear easily. And plus, if I want to clear the rifle, I pull the bolt back, drop the mag out, and it's clear. I don't have to unload a bunch of rounds or pop the hinge foreplate down and drop all the ammo on the ground. This is a very positive, secure system, and it works really well. Let's put these on target. I'm going to do just like I did before. I'm going to do the 155s at the bottom, the 168s on the right, and the 180s on the left, and let's see what kind of grouping we get. I also love having the thumb ramp on the side of the rifle here. That rest is really nice. Had one flyer on that one. It's the way it goes sometimes. I felt it pull and I knew I did it when I did it. Oh well, it's just the way it goes. I got two stacked on top of each other. I'll love it when that happens. Now we're going to load up the 168 Federal Gold Medal Match. Because that hit so much differently than it did last time with the stock, I'm going to aim in a different location. I'm going to go in the bottom right quadrant for this one. I like that group. That's a nice one. Alrighty. Now we're going to load up the 180s. Federal Fusion bonded soft points. Now this was our best group last time. So let's see how I do this time. If I can keep the streak alive or if I'm going to blow it. And for this one, I am going to aim in the upper right quadrant. Wow. I really shanked that one. I gotta try one more of those, see what's going on. Okay, so apparently my first shot I shanked, and the next three were dead on. So, interesting. Let's run down there and check out those group sizes. All right, guys, as you can see, much better grouping here, except for that one that I shanked up there. Let's just pretend that one doesn't exist. No, we're going to calculate that in as well. But here is our 155 grain AMAX. That came out to be a 0.95 MOA. For the 168 grain hollow points, we went from a 0.82 to a 0.64 MOA. That really tightened that up. 180 grain soft points, when you take into account where I shanked it, and we account all 4 shots that are there, it is a 1.89 MOA. When you eliminate the one I shanked, and you count the 3 shots up top, it is a 0.62 MOA. So still, the 180 grain was our best grouping out of both the factory stock and the chassis, which I've never shot 180 grain before. I've only ever shot around 168 to 175. Apparently it likes a little heavier, so I'm gonna up the weight and see what I can do. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely learned some stuff and I had some fun, and I tell you, I absolutely love this MDT chassis. Phenomenal setup. The reason it's not still on the rifle is this is actually going to be going on a 6.5 Creedmoor build, but before doing that, I wanted to do this comparison to show you guys what the factory stock lacks and what you can gain from having a precision rifle chassis. And we definitely saw some accuracy improvements. So let's look at those now. So in the factory stock with the 155 grain AMAX load, we had a 0.98 MOA grouping. In the ESS chassis with the 155 grain AMAX, we had a 0.95 MOA. This was our smallest increase with only a 3% increase in accuracy. We saw our biggest jump with the 168 grain match boat tail hollow points from Federal. Originally in the factory stock, we had a 0.87 MOA. And in the ESS chassis, we had a 0.64 MOA for a 26% increase in accuracy. Now our best and worst groups of the day came from the Federal Fusion 180 grain bonded soft points when I shanked that first shot. But let's look at those comparisons as well. In the factory stock, the Federal Fusion 180 grain bonded soft point gave us a 0.72 MOA. In the ESS chassis, the first round where I shanked the first shot, we got a 1.89 MOA for a nearly 40% loss in accuracy. But when I tightened it back up, we got a 0.62 MOA for a 13.8% increase in accuracy. So as you guys can see, we did have some considerable gains in accuracy using this precision rifle chassis. It does make a big difference having a rigid platform that you can have repeatable accuracy from. When you can't get those repeatable shots because the stock is flexing, you're not going to get the same accuracy. It's just the way it's going to be. That's not to say we didn't get some pretty good groupings with this. Everything was sub MOA. So as long as you do your part, you're going to get some good groupings with the factory stock. You're just going to get better with this precision rifle chassis that is a solid bedding system. It makes a huge difference. As mentioned earlier, check the episode notes linked below. You can find out more information on all the products used in the video there. Also, check back soon. We're going to be doing a precision rifle build with this ESS chassis and a 6.5 Creedmoor, and we will eventually be stretching it out to 1,000 yards or a little more. I'm really excited about that. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time. Finally got the opportunity, and I can't wait. I'm like a little kid at Christmas. I'm ready to get to it. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something. If you like what you see, give us a big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button below and check back often. We got a lot coming. Also, check out our Instagram and Facebook pages. Have a good one, guys.